actually do an intro. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. So, Restream appears to be functioning-ish. So I guess that's enough vamping. So here comes the part where I say, "Hi, I'm Trevor, and welcome to Catching Up on Cinema." If you aren't familiar with the program, Catching Up on Cinema is a film analysis podcast wherein we introduce each other to films, expand our cinematic horizons, and, in essence, catch up on our cinema. So it is the month of December 2025, the end of 2025, and is once again that very special time of the month wherein we do our very special Tales from the Shelf episode. And in joining me on this endeavor, I have two people joining me today. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce them. So I'll just say, hey, Brad. Hey, Levi. How's it going?
Howdy.
Oh boy. Hey. I thought we were going to talk over each other. That was good. We're good. Yeah. It's going great.
Yeah. So Brad, of course, is my regular buddy here on Tales from the Shelf. He has his own podcast by the name of the Cinema Speak podcast. It regularly publishes on Thursdays of each week. Brad specializes more in like contemporary in-theater cinema and stuff. But we have a new friend here who's been on the podcast in the past month or so. But this is, I think, his first time joining us here on the live stream. This is Levi, aka your captain speaking. Hey, Levi, what's up? How's it going?
Howdy. It's good when my mic is working.
Yeah. So as you may have heard in this past month or so, Levi and I have been talking quite extensively about Barbarian cinema, and we have had some technical hurdles that we're still in the midst of figuring out. So far, so good today, though. So hopefully we have a great ass live stream today. And as tends to be the case on any given Tales from the Shelf episode, we have a unifying theme guiding today's discussion. And in this case, 'tis the spirit of the season. We're going to be revisiting one that Brad and I have done in the past called The Holiday Haul. We like alliterative titles here. So we're going to do the Holiday Haul 2025. And essentially what that means is we're going to be talking about movies that we received or, were gifted or picked up on our own, in my case, this holiday season. So we'll do as we normally do. We'll go around, we'll do a rotation and just have everybody play a bit of show and tell with whatever movies they've picked up. Levi, I've never bothered to ask, what's your dog's name?
This is Roy.
Roy, that is a great ass name for a dog.
He is a poodle. He is a full-size poodle, and he is a rather large animal.
Yeah, like full ass poodles are pretty hardy dogs. Very smart, very smart dogs. My parents have a Dorky poo.
He's sharp. Oh,
he likes being on camera. It's adorable.
Yeah, evidently he does. So he may come in and out.
It's fine. So love it. Being as you're the newcomer, Levi, I figure I'm going to toss you directly in front of the oncoming bus here and ask that, hey, how about you be the first person to share one of your holiday haul picks today? What you got?
Wonderful. Well, so it is a ongoing process of being an adult, and Christmas gifts always get harder as you get older because people just kind of lose touch. You're not as much, and they're like, what do you get? I'm like, guys, Criterion's always safe. There's literally over 1,000 of them. I'll tell you the numbers I don't have. And nobody ever asks me about the numbers. Nobody ever does. I might as well just have a list ready that I can immediately hand them. So my local record store has a big shelf of pre-owned Criterion Blu-rays. And my folks were like, listen, we were gonna risk it, but we figured you know what you have, so here's a gift card.
The safe option.
And it's like, listen, I get it. And he's just like, I think my dad was gonna get me a Cary Grant movie that I did not have. And he was just like, but I didn't, I just wasn't confident. I wasn't confident in my choice. And I'm like, all right, okay. So I decided to pick up something that I watched with him last night, Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory.
Ooh.
Very nice.
So Criterion spine number 538. This is super, super early for Kubrick. It is it's a widescreen release, black and white, which it feels like you don't see nearly as much of. Most of these movies tend to be in that like 1:1.33 or the 4:3 aspect ratio. So it's kind of fun seeing a widescreen black and white picture. But it is a World War One drama based within a regiment that is being tried for cowardice after being sent on what their general knows is a total suicide mission. That they are sent out for effectively no reason, for politics. And when they retreat in the face of immense losses, the entire battalion is charged with cowardice. So it's a little bit of courtroom drama. It's a little bit of a war picture. It's pretty heavy stuff, but Kirk Douglas stars and he turns in an incredible performance. And yeah, the standout sequence is them charging into no man's land. It is an incredible, incredible long tracking shot. It must have taken forever to film. But yeah, it's a Kubrick film that doesn't really get talked about. I feel like it's kind of overshadowed by something like Full Metal Jacket as far as his war pictures, and as far as his interactions with Kirk Douglas. Spartacus is probably the first thing that comes to mind for most people. So it's kind of one of the lesser Kubrick films that shouldn't be lesser.
Yeah. So I take it you had seen this one prior to having received it as a gift. Is that right?
Yeah, I had rented it at the time, and I miss it almost every week. At the time, I was living in Baltimore, Maryland, and we have the video store Beyond Video. So they are one of the locally run volunteer video stores that cropped up here in the last handful of years, and it's fantastic. So I rented it through them and saw it a number of years ago. And when I saw that it was available, I decided to pick it up.
Very cool. I know. I think Kyle actually picked that one up as a blind buy. He's a Kubrick fan, and several years ago, I think he caught wind of it, and he was like, this is one of his that, as you say, seems to be underrepresented in like conversations about the man. And just out of curiosity, he picked it up. I think at Scarecrow Video, and he was pretty happy with it. I've not seen it myself. But obviously it's a Kubrick film, so there's going to be a certain technical acumen on display in the whole thing that I'm sure is a worthwhile thing. It's also part of the Criterion Collection. And also, I do like me some Kirk Douglas. I mean, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the subject of like favorite childhood Disney movies came up at a gathering that I was at with my fiance like last week. And that was one that I forgot to mention. It's like I did watch the shit out of that movie. A Whale of a Tale. That song is going to play at my wedding. My fiance is actually going to insist. She adores that, and I watched that movie over and over and over again, mostly for the giant squid because I was a little boy, but also just Kirk Douglas and Peter Lorre and that whole cast of characters just really worked for me. So I've always had an affinity for his particular approach to acting and whatnot. But Brad, is this one known to you? Is this in your collection? Because you have a lot more Criterion titles than I do, I think.
I double checked. I looked behind me. It is in my collection. Have not watched it yet.
That sounds about right.
Been waiting for the dust to settle on that one. Probably picked it up about 6 or 7 years ago. So Levi, you beat me in the race there. A little tortoise and the hare scenario. I'm playing the long game here, but you did beat me on that watch. But yeah, I definitely been wanting to watch it. I think the reason that, and this is a stupid reason, the reason I haven't watched it is I own in some fashion every Kubrick movie, and I want to do a front to back, start with this first feature. Is The Killing the first one, or was there one before that? Either way, whatever the first one is, go through the whole filmography, and that's prevented me from watching Paths of Glory.
There's a weird first feature that he is effectively like released to the ether. He's just like, I don't want to think about this one. You can find it for free on YouTube. You can find it for free on YouTube, and it's I'm trying to remember the title of it, but it's like it's amateur hour, but it's amateur hour for Kubrick. I mean, it's like if this is a Ferrari, this is like your first muscle car that you tuned up. It's still fast, it's still cool, but you're like, yeah, the polish isn't quite there yet.
Yeah, I think whatever it is, I think it's a bonus feature on one of the Criterion discs that I own, which that's pretty cool. That a couple of his, like I think it's the Killing Criterion has a bonus feature, and I think one other has a bonus feature as well. But that's some pretty good. Some bonus material there. Get a whole other feature film from Kubrick on some of those Criterion discs.
Very nice. So you said you picked that up at like a local secondhand store. Is that right, Levi?
Yeah, we have Black Hills Vinyl here in Rapid City, and just recently, I feel like every time I go in there, they've rejiggered and shifted a bunch of things. Just within the past like couple of months that I've been in there, they have a mid-sized like shelf that comes up to about here. That's all pre-owned Criterion Blu-rays, and they're like $20 a piece. I'm like, it's the Barnes and Noble 50% off sale year-round, baby. Like, let's go.
Yeah, and it's a small business too. On top of that, and just the fact that they do the common, like it's common for them to resort things and rejigger the environment, that shows a lot of passion and enthusiasm. I love that kind of stuff. I took my buddy Orion to Scarecrow Video for the first time. He's been living here for years and he's never been there for some reason. It's an institution. Like if you're into this hobby, if you're into this medium, it's a place you should visit. It's basically a living museum where you can actually rent stuff or buy stuff if you want. And there was a shelf. It was a pretty small bookshelf, but it was hand curated cyberpunk films, and the stuff on that shelf, just all of it, just like warmed my heart. Where I was like, I think it's called like Game Over or something. It's the Sega CD game that Spoonie covered for the Spoonie experiment at one point, where it's an entire film cobbled together from unused footage from Sega CD games. Max Headroom was on there. Captain N was on there. I was like, I'm not sure if that belongs, but why not? Captain Power was on there on top of that. It was great. And just that hand curated aspect is something I always really appreciate. Like Al's also in the same neighborhood in Seattle. They also have like a Criterion closet. And Brad, you'd be interested to hear about this. They had like somebody did like an estate sale or something where they just like dumped thousands of Blu-rays on them. And they had like Instagram videos of them like having to take a U-Haul out to this guy's house just to obtain all the inventory. Like they did it for him because it was such a substantial donation, basically. He had the entire Twilight Time collection.
Really?
Like they've since been like revived, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Very, very, very loosely revived, but I know they're going out of business sale, and I think they brought them back. I don't know if they're as prevalent as they used to be, but that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, it was like all the numbered spines, like all in order, and some of them, like I saw them for sale, and it's like, this is fucking expensive. Like I bought like two of them. I bought Fat City because I have a thing for boxing movies, and that was one my brother showed me when I was pretty young. To hammer home the point that he was like, "Hey, boxing sucks if you do it." like just so you know, like you're still a kid. Don't get ahead of yourself. Like don't get punched in the face. It's not good for you. And that movie spells it out. Go ahead, Levi.
Yeah, my father boxed in his younger years, and he was like, it was really good. The training was good, and he went to a boxing gym. He actually grew up in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, no shit.
Between Eugene, Oregon, Portland, and Olympia, kind of like up and down that stretch. And he's like, yeah, I went to the gym and it was good. And then I realized after like a handful of fights, like maybe 6 to 10, he's like, wow, getting punched in the head is awful. Like, I really hate this. He's like, I really hate getting punched in the head.
He had a Brent Spiner moment. I hate this. I gave you that as a drop, right, Brad?
Oh yeah, that's on the board. That's on the board.
But yeah, I bought Fat City and what was it? Rapid Fire, because I had never seen that, and that's one of Brandon Lee's very few films, and it was put out on Blu-ray by Twilight Time. They did a great job with it, and it is actually a pretty decent little action thriller. I was kind of happy with that one. But anyway, that's enough yakking about secondhand stores. Hey, Brad, it's your turn, buddy. What's your first holiday haul pick for 2025?
Well, I got a few here, and usually, if anybody asks me what any movies that I want for the holiday season for Christmas or my birthday, which happens to be in December as well, I usually, out of habit, I just go with kind of mainstream releases. And I'm like, oh, you can get me that or whatever. Just out of habit from back in the day, trying to find whatever would be the easiest for my mom to find at Best Buy or Walmart. And even if she doesn't go in store to buy them anymore, I just still go with that kind of thought process. This one was actually a birthday gift from my sister and my nieces and my brother-in-law and that whole side of the family. I've got here on 4K historical film. This is historical. And I think I almost got this not even for enjoyment of the movie or to rewatch the movie. This is almost just like a museum piece because Apple is in the 4K game. And even though this is distributed by Warner Brothers, I believe it still marks Apple's first physical release. We have F1, the movie.
Wow.
Classic Brad Pitt racing film from earlier this year, which I enjoyed. I didn't love, but I think it would be a really great 4K disc, great demo disc. And, with this coming out, because it was a Warner Brothers co-production or they handled international distribution or something. So it's not a fully Apple released physical product, but I do believe that since this has come out, or maybe technically maybe it even was before, but I think Coda, the Best Picture winner, Coda, has come out on physical, and Killers of the Flower Moon just got announced for Criterion, and I believe it was 4K. I assume it was 4K, but that's what I've been waiting on for a while. So Apple is finally releasing stuff on physical media, and I could not be happier. And I may just, it's kind of the thing. If Apple keeps putting out stuff on physical, I might try and buy them all. It might be a Pokemon situation. Got to buy them all. But this one, I did enjoy watching this in theaters earlier this year.
Buddy, are there any is there a logo for Apple on the box for that one? Because I've never seen their branding on a Blu-ray before or a 4K disc, so I'm curious.
It's nothing crazy, but you got the Apple original.
Oh, wow, there it is.
Warner Brothers right there. So
original films.
On the back, I don't see anything Apple on the back there, but would have really appreciated Apple to really go bold and do like clear cases or something like that. I would have appreciated that kind of big swing. But for now, it's a traditional 4K disc. But yeah, very cool, very cool.
There's a certain irony to a company that eliminated optical disc draw all of their products to release new 4K discs. There's something very funny to me about that. It's like, here's something you could use on none of our products.
They're like, how are people supposed to watch this? Why would we put this out?
It's like,
I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever, but I'm curious because they have their pursuit of aesthetic perfection is kind of their thing. They try to pare things down. They try to keep things minimalist, and also the way that they do their Apple TV and stuff. There does seem to be an intense effort driven towards like visual fidelity seems to be something that they do. Or I've heard it said that like things streamed through an Apple TV often are crisper and sharper than things streamed through a traditional just like television. Um, so I'm curious, like if that's the kind of effort that we're going to see put forth on their discs. Um, F1 seems like a an excellent example of a movie to start with because as far as I understand, that's like most of the appeal of the movie is its visual elements and the cinematography and whatnot. I've not seen the movie, but you and I, Brad, in particular, I don't know how you feel about this sort of thing, Levi, but like anytime there's it feels so shitty saying this about Apple, but anytime there's a new kid on the block when it comes to putting out physical media, it's interesting. It just feels really shitty saying that about a company like Apple.
We're rooting for the underdog here. Apple physical media, rooting for the underdog.
Yeah, Apple, the new kid on the block. It feels horrible to say that.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm kind of it's I'll probably buy this and probably Killers of the Flower Moon, and that'll be it. But I don't know what are some other Apple. I'm trying to think of another Apple movie that's like a lower tier one that I could pop on Black Friday or something. I don't know. What's that John Krasinski one where he's like Indiana Jones? Did anybody watch that one?
There's that one with that woman from the bus. The Green Grass movie or whatever.
Yeah.
They did the Tom Hanks picture where he's a submarine commander.
Oh yeah, that was
whatever.
Greyhound. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That could be coming. That could be coming.
I was interested in seeing it, but I'm just like, where do I watch Apple Plus?
It's the only place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was the same thing with Coda, where I'm like, well, it's Best Picture. I mean, it'd be worse. What do you mean it's locked on Apple Plus? What do you mean I literally couldn't have seen it in theaters?
We don't want you to see this, Levi. We want the sample size to be very small.
Yeah, like it is kind of remarkable. It's one of the things that I am slightly against the, like, listen, I know this is the way the industry is going and it's fine and I understand. But at the same time, it's just like, dude, I have to get a subscription service to see Best Picture? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And I did just look it up. The Coda physical release, like obviously this was in partnership with Warner Brothers. The Coda one is in partnership with Universal. So seems like they still haven't put out any discs. They're kind of they're doing it begrudgingly through other studios. They're like, all right, I guess if we have a Best Picture winner, I guess we'll tap Warner or Universal to put out the disc because we don't want to do it ourselves. But
Yeah,
come on, Apple, just go all in, do it.
Dumb question, but I have exactly the right two people here to help me out with this. Blu-ray is obviously owned by Sony. Like as far as I know, that's like a proprietary technology of sorts. Like the Blu-ray brand, that technology belongs to Sony. 4K though, does that belong to anyone? Because I don't actually know. Never actually done the research.
Not that I know of, but
Good question.
I could be wrong.
Because I feel like that, like just the way of things in the business world, I feel like that's something that we might see people try to pull away from. Is like, I don't want to pay Sony anymore. It's like I don't want to throw any coins at Sony anymore. Like I want to try this HD DVD thing again. Let's give that another go. Let's go for the red boxes. I love working at a thrift store and having those get donated all the time. Just like, what do you want me to do with this?
Trevor and I talked about this on a previous podcast of my illness of, if I own something, I want to have all of the accessories for it. I want to know the extent of what it can do. And let me tell you, every time I see an HD DVD drive for the Xbox 360, it speaks to me like the Green Goblin mask.
Yeah.
It calls me a coward for not shelling out for it. And I'm like, dog, There's a part of me that wants it, but I know it's stupid and it makes no sense.
Yeah, Levi, instead of a Green Goblin mask, just has an HD DVD of the Bourne Supremacy sitting on his couch that glowers at him.
Yeah.
You want to watch me? You know you want to watch me.
Let me ask you guys, did you, because I didn't pick a side during the war until the victor was already decided. Did you guys engage in the Blu-ray HD DVD war? Did you pick a side early on?
I mean, yeah, kind of, because I already had some loose allegiance to Sony in the form of PlayStation.
Okay, yeah.
PS3 has a built-in Blu-ray player. Their games come on the format in a lot of cases, and for a lot of people at the time, Blu-ray players were exorbitant priced. Like they were super expensive. The PlayStation 3 actually was like the most reasonable alternative or the most reasonable option to get into that ecosystem. So for me, I was already a PlayStation kid. Like I grew up with a PS1 and a 2, and then I was a little late to the game, like very late actually, getting a PS3. But that made the choice for me. Where it was just like, oh, I have a PS3 now, and I'm a movie buff. I'm gonna go buy some Blu-rays and get a flat panel TV because I did not have one of those until like around that time.
Yeah.
But how about you, Levi? Did you engage in the war, the console war of formats?
We were so far behind technologically that it was probably we waited till we could get a Blu-ray player used. It's like it was one of those things where like E3 would come on every year, and it's like I had so many friends who were like, "Wow, look at the new games that are coming out for the new consoles," and I'm like, "Guys, I still have a Game Boy Advance. I can't." There were so many things that I just didn't get until they were a generation or two behind. Yeah. So it's like I couldn't have even imagined picking a side in that, because it's like, guys, the VCR is still hooked up to the TV. Like the only reason we have things on discs is because we were like gifted a DVD player. It just wasn't something we could have even conceived of taking a side on at the time because it was just so doggone expensive. It was probably 2011, 2012 before we actually got a flat panel television.
Same here, actually.
Yeah.
Like that's around the same time for me.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get into Blu-ray game until after the victor had already been decided. So yeah, I didn't put any blood on the battlefield.
I mean, there's only so many wars one can fight. Like I was there for the 16-bit console war. I was there for the Monday Night War between WWF and WCW. I already have those under my belt. I don't need this shit. It's like I'll just let people sort it out and show up and collect cool shit that comes out of it.
Yeah, I went to actual war. That's my bonfires.
Yeah.
Did you play a lot of Halo, Levi? I'm curious.
We had like an Xbox in the sitting over in the corner, and it was one of those things that it was just a matter of trying to get anyone to do it. But we had so many like single watches, and we were constantly on the move. So it was. And it really wasn't something where you kind of had to have your keyboard in your hand. Like, you kind of had to be right at your desk because we were on watch. And on your off time, because we were in 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. So it's like, as soon as you got off your shift, I mean, you were freaking exhausted. So it's like you maybe took some time to work out, and then you just collapsed.
Yeah. I mean,
we didn't have
especially
a lot of downtime.
If you didn't have any downtime and also you were doing like solo watches and stuff like that, then no Halo for this man.
No time for Halo.
No time for
Halo. we watched a lot of movies and we watched a lot of TV because we could like second screen that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we did. We watched a lot of stuff. But no, there really wasn't a whole lot of games for us because again, it wasn't uncommon that you were the only guy in there, and I'm sorry, you need to be looking here.
Okay. Old School or Anchorman? Either of those available to you at the time?
They were.
I kind of figured.
Napoleon. There was a day where Napoleon Dynamite played 6 times back to back uninterrupted.
Yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
Did anybody throw hands over that, or was everybody cool with that?
No. Everyone just kind of let it wash over them. It was like you just kind of let it go. Because it was one of those days where nobody felt like getting up to reset it. They just like the remote was at my coworker Bob's desk, and he would just hit play again.
You're enabling,
and it was just a whole day of that.
All day Napoleon Dynamite marathon.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Napoleon Dynamite. Full Metal Jacket played a lot. Like for some reason, Full Metal Jacket was on a pretty consistent rotation. I remember we watched The Longest Day as well. Yeah, it's like there were just a handful of movies that it seemed like they kept finding their way into the DVD player. And it's just like, okay. Like it really did. Doctor Strangelove was another one.
I mean, at least you have some quality cinema.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time I would call back to base on occasion when we were at a different fob, and if Bob picked up the phone, he's like, Dimitri, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay. So I only have like 3 different picks I can make, and full disclosure, none of these were gifts. I didn't get gifted any movies this Christmas, but I did buy myself some stuff in the month of December, so I'm going to count those. It is my show. Fuck off. So I'm going to let you guys dictate which one comes first. So I have some Primo 4Ks, I've got some Vinegar Syndrome, and I've got some Barbarian stuff. Which ones you guys want to see first?
In the spirit of the holiday, Barbarian cinema feels correct.
Yeah, go with that.
All right. Let's put a proper capper on Barbarian Cinema Month with some not so great movies that I purchased at the local secondhand store, so I didn't pay top dollar for these, which is nice. And that case is cracked. That upsets me. Didn't notice that. Anyway, these I picked up because Levi and I have been doing Barbarian Cinema Month all throughout December, and I just decided to do some independent research of my own and just watch a lot of Barbarian-themed movies, even ones we weren't going to be talking about. In particular, I started watching a lot of like 1980s fantasy films, like not necessarily like sword and sorcery or sword and sandal kind of stuff, but just like crossing off a lot of things that I should have seen but just hadn't. Like Lady Hawk, I needed a refresher on, Levi. I hadn't seen that one in ages. And I was just like, it's been so long, and we talked about Lady Hawk. I feel like watching Lady Hawk. Same goes for like Kroll. And then I had never seen The Dark Crystal. So I decided I need to see The Dark Crystal. And so I did a lot of that this month. And I also decided I needed to watch some dog shit on top of that. And I didn't have access to them. And I figured I will put that dog shit on my shelf anyway. So first up, I have a 4K of the Jason Momoa Conan the Barbarian. And this movie is not very good. It has some decent swordplay when the editing is not, being thrown into a wood chipper. Jason Momoa cuts a mean figure, in my mind anyway, and perhaps Levi can correct me on this. He aesthetically, he does look like Robert E. Howard's character of Conan. Performance-wise, he's not given much to work with, but just like from a purely aesthetic standpoint, the guy looks right. The guy moves right on top of that. He really put his time in when it came to the swordplay. Unfortunately, the editing does him no favors because the swordplay it looks great in fits and spurts. Unfortunately, we're just cutting so quickly through all of it that it becomes incomprehensible at times. The script is complete dog shit for this one. And aesthetically, it's not very fun to look at a lot of times. It's just not a very good movie. I did see this in the theater though, because I had a friend locally who insisted on going, and I was like, "Sure, buddy, I'll go with you." In addition to that, I also have a movie that's doesn't hold up as well as I really hoped it would, because I remember liking this one well enough. It just, I don't know, it doesn't completely click, unfortunately, and that's Dragonheart. This is actually from the 1990s, I think 96. So this is a few years post Jurassic Park. But this was one of those big CGI spectacle movies that came out in the wake of Jurassic Park. And it's like, hey, big reptiles or big dinosaurs worked for audiences, worldwide. Let's try something similar in the form of a dragon as voiced by Sean Connery. This one's, I think a lot of kids, 90s kids, have an affinity for this one. I certainly liked it well enough. I did think it was a little bit cheesy when I was a child, but revisiting it now, it's like it doesn't completely work for me, unfortunately. When it works though, it actually is pretty solid. Like it has some teeth to it, which is refreshing. Like for a children's film, this is actually extremely dark. Like there's some straight up savagery and cruelty in this movie that's kind of impressive for a children's film from the 90s. But just the pacing of it, the construction of it, like the plot progression is really floaty and loose. And it's just not as complete as it ought to be. Really, really solid concept, really wonderful mythology. But the tonality of it clashes a lot of times because, like I said, it is very dark in some instances, but it's also like it feels like Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze at times, where it's like, come on, man, like we can't do both of these things back to back. But yeah, a little bit of a disappointment to revisit that one, but it popped into my head, and it was nice to have an excuse to revisit it. I just wish the revisit was a little nicer. But yeah, now I have those on my shelf and probably never watch them again, but they're there.
How is our buddy Dennis Quaid in that one? Is he any good?
He's so fine, baby, you're so fine. Levi, have you ever seen that? Have you encountered Dennis Quaid on the Catching Up on Cinema podcast?
I don't think so. No.
Okay,
Not yet.
Kyle introduced me. He has a dad rock band that's like a surfer rock band. And he was on like some morning show, and you can find this on YouTube of him like playing a guitar with his dad rock band. And he has a song called "You're So Fine." And yeah, every time Dennis Quaid pops up on the Catching Up on Cinema podcast, we slip that into the edit. It's a grand old time. Yeah, he's a weird contribution to the movie because, like, again, aesthetically, kind of like Jason Momoa, I guess. Like Dennis Quaid has like the prototypical like handsome leading man kind of look. Like he has that devilish grin. He has a natural charisma about him. Sometimes he's fantastic, like The Substance. His recent role in The Substance, he understood the assignment and he was terrific at it.
He wasn't acting in that movie.
Yeah, and same goes for like The Intruder. Like holy shit, he's having a blast. He's doing some wild shit in that. The Intruder should have won Oscars. That's a great ass film.
Oh man.
Dennis Quaid is a home invader. Yeah, that's what we want. But in this one, he's like, he feels like an anachronism or something because it's like he is Dennis Quaid with a wig, and everybody else is like Shakespearean, big, grand, British, very, very British performances. Like we have David Thewlis and Jason Isaacs. Baby Jason Isaacs is in here too. Hometown hero Brian Thompson is in here as well. We claim him. Brian Thompson belongs to Washington. Shao Kahn himself, first guy to get killed by the Terminator, Brian Thompson. Bad guy from Cobra, Brian Thompson, is in here. And of course, Sean Connery. But yeah, like Dennis Quaid is like, he is just being Dennis Quaid.
He doesn't try and do a British accent or anything like that.
Not even a little. He's the only guy. Like he's acting opposite Pete Postlethwaite. It's like, dude, you need to step up your game, sir. Maybe that's what happened. Is he determined like, I can't do this?
He knew where he needed to focus. I mean, yeah.
He's like, he needs to focus on his beard oil and his wig game, and because in terms of acting, he's not gonna hold a candle to a lot of the people that he's playing opposite.
Well, and the other thing is just like if we have learned anything in these sorts of productions, sometimes it's not worth trying for the accent, man. Sometimes it's just not worth it.
Yeah. Keanu in Bram Stoker's Dracula, Winona in Bram Stoker's Dracula, Carrie Elwes in anything that isn't The Princess Bride.
The sliding accent of Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I mean, that man has a long history with accents too. Because if you go back to like Carlito's Way, it's like, whoa. I mean, technically, he actually is fine casting for that. But like, he's leaning into an accent there. That's like, it's a little much.
Yeah, like it's not that it's ever distracting to a point that it truly takes me out of the movie, but there are times where I'm like, Viggo, I need you to stop.
Yeah,
I know
Viggo,
you can.
Whatever you're doing.
I know you can speak like 6 languages or something crazy. Pick one.
Oh, a couple of notes about Dragonheart. One, Levi, you and I were talking about soundtrack scores just yesterday about the Phantom score and how it's awesome and how it's used for many other things. Score for Dragonheart punches way above its weight, and the main theme, like the closing theme of the movie, basically, like it bookends the movie, by Randy Edelman. It's this grand triumphant theme in the I think it was used for every inspirational teacher movie that came out post 1996. We had a lot of those in the late 80s and early 90s. I don't think we had that many of them in the late 90s. I think we were more into like I don't know, like dangerous like urban substitute teacher movies by the but yeah, it's I think it's the same. I think he also did Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. The theme for that movie is so much better remembered than that movie and was used in so many trailers. Same goes for Dragonheart, whereas like it's this amazing theme that I think is played at like 4th of July celebrations in this country, honestly. Like it pops up in the darndest of places. And also, Brad, pretty sure, is it alleged bad person Rob Cohen directed this? Or is it confirmed or alleged bad person?
I think it's alleged. I think it's alleged.
I think it's alleged bad person Rob Cohen, but wasn't he the director of the Hurricane Heist?
Yeah. his last
Hurricane Heist. Levi, are you familiar?
I am not at all familiar.
So Brad does a thing on his podcast every once in a while where he does retro reviews. So normally Brad does contemporary stuff, like things that he can go out to the theater and see. But every once in a while there's like a gap in the schedule and he's like, fuck it, we'll do Small Soldiers or Monkey Bone, or hey, Trevor, you want to talk about the Hurricane Heist from what, 2013, I think? Yeah, that's a movie that exists. I think Toby Kebbell or something?
I got it on 4K right here.
And Mark Rhino Johnson is in there. Everybody's favorite household name actor, Mark Rhino Smith, I think is his name.
Classic flick.
Yep. From the director of the first Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I saw this in theaters and I walked out. I'm like, oh, that was actually kind of good. That was better than I thought it was. And I kept telling Trevor, I was like, you got to come on the show and talk the Hurricane Heist. Dude, this is gonna blow your socks off.
Oh, we did it, bud. We did it.
Best 3-star movie you'll ever see.
Yeah, Hurricane Heist is Just the fact that it exists kind of makes me happy, and more than that, I guess it got a theatrical release. Like, it's not a Redbox movie. Like, it actually was in theaters. Brad went to see it, apparently.
Me
Color
and one
me
other old guy in the
intrigued.
theater.
The title tells you what it is. like there, it's not like Naked Lunch or something where it's like I can think of two things wrong with that title. It's like there's a hurricane and there's a heist.
Perfect.
Speaking of delivering, hey Levi, you're next up in the rotation, buddy. What is your next holiday haul pick?
My next holiday haul pick, I realize I forgot one of my holiday hauls at the house because it got sorted.
Oh no.
It came in the mail earlier in the season, so it got sorted. It got actively sorted into the collection. Like, these are fairly fresh. But the second criterion that I got was the big one, Citizen Kane.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm not sure if the audience or if you, Brad, have seen this, how deluxe this packaging is, but so.
Ooh. Very nice.
And so the booklet, I took it out so it didn't just immediately fall. Sits right in the center there. It is a 3-disc Blu-ray release, and doggone, it's pretty. It's so pretty. It's like I'm a sucker for this sort of thing where it's just like, okay, if we're gonna really zhuzh it up, if we're really gonna put the polish on something, it's got to be for Kane. I have been informed that there is a problem with some of the discs.
There was. I don't know if it's still the case.
Yeah, wait, so I remind me again, did you buy that new or used?
Used. So now I'm scared.
You might want to look into that. You might want to get some serial numbers on that thing.
Yeah, I'm a little freaked out because I'm like, oh no. And apparently Criterion has given instructions to destroy the discs.
Yeah,
like you have to put like you have to like you have to ritually destroy them. Like you have to light incense above it as you bless it as it goes down to Hades.
It was just a week of physical media collectors just smashing discs with hammers and putting them on Instagram, and it was great. It was so good.
Smash copies of Citizen Kane. It's, oh my goodness, like that. It cracks me up. But of course, what could I possibly say about Citizen Kane that has not already been said over the past 80 years? It's a good film. It's good. I like it. It's actually not my favorite from Wells. Probably Chimes at Midnight or F for Fake are my two. F for Fake, I feel like it only kind of counts because it's a documentary, but it's so unique and so incredible to watch. Chimes is his adaptation of Henry V, which is just unbelievable. But yeah, Kane's fantastic. I only own it on VHS, so finally getting a nice crisp Blu-ray copy. I watched it fairly recently with the girlfriend, and the girlfriend fell asleep in the middle of it. And she rolled over at the end. She's like, did they ever find out what Rosebud was? And I'm like, yes, yeah, they did find out what Rosebud was. Maybe if you were conscious, you could have seen it. I was like, I wasn't like super upset with her, but it was just like she was over and asked that question.
Like, you cared enough to ask, but you didn't care enough to to stay conscious for the answer.
It freaking killed me. But yeah, so I mean, it's a beautiful looking release. There's so many extras. I mean, like I said, it was 3 discs. You get, which I've never even heard of, a silent picture called The Heart of Ages, which Wells made as a student as a bonus.
Wow.
Which I've never heard of it. So I mean, sign me up. I mean, there's all sorts of commentaries behind the scenes, Mercury Theater radio plays. I mean, it seems like there is a lot of effort to cover Wells's career up until Kane as his first feature. So it seems like a real quality release. I'm looking forward to sitting down and watching it. The office where I'm currently recording is where my big 4K projector resides. Behind me, these are my film projectors. Brad, a little bit about me. I collect 16 millimeter film, so I screen real film here in the office. But
Nice.
all my digital offerings go through the Epson, so I will probably be throwing this onto the Epson projector and enjoying it one night here soon to make sure that my discs aren't completely bunk, so I don't have to smash them with a hammer like everyone else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I want to say it was only with like the first kind of run of the release, so it's been out for a while now. So hopefully your odds are in your favor. But
Yeah. Oh no. First printing 2021.
Oh, uh-oh.
First printing.
Well,
I
you
don't
know what
remember-
to do if it's if it turns out to be a bad one. You gotta film it, buddy.
I'll send you guys the footage.
Yeah, you gotta film it in a James Rolfian manner. In some, so you need to find some unique. Yeah, the whip is what came to mind. The Dark Castle method.
Yeah.
Well, I will go ahead and just show my ignorance right up front and say that I've not actually seen Citizen Kane, nor have I actually seen a proper Orson Welles film. I have heard War of the Worlds. I did have a teacher who played it for us. He was a cool guy. And of course, Transformers the movie lives in my memory rent free. So, I have another vocal performance from the man. But what's interesting is, despite not having seen the guy's work, I have watched countless interviews with him just because as a human being, he is so fascinating and he's just so lovely to listen to. And I feel like every moment of his life was like he treated the world like a stage to some extent. Like the cold reading shit he would do just kind of felt like there's a playfulness to like the way he approached life, where he's just like, it's like we're going to bring spice and flavor to like every facet of my existence, kind of. So I've seen countless interviews with the guy, and in fact I've seen the HBO film about the making of Citizen Kane. It's RKO and then the number for the film. with
Lee Schreiber. Yeah.
Very good movie, actually. But I've never actually seen the real movie, which feels like a sin for having a movie podcast and never having seen it. But just being fully transparent. And also needs to be said, like Levi, I told you a long time ago that I was like, you I think of Orson Welles when I think of you for some reason. Like you're connected in my mind in some strange way.
It's probably the speech pattern.
No, I think there's just like a little bit of like the silhouette, like not like your face and like your interests. Like you have a deep interest in a wide variety of things, and you have a passion and a sincerity about you that like he seemed to bring to a lot of stuff that he would be interviewed about. But anyway, Brad, do you have this Citizen Kane disc?
No, I don't, and not because I haven't wanted to get it, although I guess the recall scared me off for a little bit, but it came out at a weird time because I know it was like the first Criterion 4K, but I had just, I think it was a first time watch, or maybe it was a rewatch, but watched Citizen Kane like a few months before for David Fincher's Mank. And this came out like directly after that, so I was like, oh, I just kind of rewatched Citizen Kane. I'm not really, it's not one you pop in every 6 months kind of thing. So I think now I'm maybe far enough removed where I would like to finally pick it up. But it's been on my list for a while.
Yeah.
On the subject of Orson Welles interviews, for anyone in the audience, and Brad, Trevor, feel free to look it up. There are two pieces I return to consistently that he did at like kind of as live bits. One is his introduction to the Battle Hymn of the Republic, which is incredible. It is him telling the story of the writing of it and giving this monologue, and it is stirring. It is very stirring stuff. And the other one is he's doing an interview with Dick Cavett about a movie that he loved, but the movie's called A Safe Place, which is a fascinating film, but it's a hard one to recommend because it is so loose. It is very kind of slice of life. There's not much plot to it. It's kind of has like a dreamy type atmosphere. But Wells is in it as a Jewish chess playing magician. I assure you, it's less strange than that sounds. But he gives this monologue on Dick Cavett about Noah's Ark that is not in the movie. It does not exist in the movie. If for some reason it was cut, it was left on the cutting room floor, it was determined not to be important. It's about 10 minutes, and it is an incredible performance. It is so good. And it's the sort of thing that works in its own context as its own piece from him. So those two things I'd highly recommend.
Yeah, I will have to check out both of those because I've seen a handful of interviews from Dick Cavett with him, and they just seem to interesting things always come out of conversations between the two of them. But that's one that I haven't seen, so I'd very much like to check that out. Brad, I believe you're next up in the rotation, sir. What is your next holiday haul pick?
Well, let's go with I don't know. Let's go with this one here, I guess. Another 2025 release. One of the more acclaimed films of the year. I have here on 4K. I have Sinners. Ryan Coogler's Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan. Another Warner Brothers release here. Huge year for them. And yeah, I quite like Sinners. Plot-wise, maybe a little familiar, but I just thought it was had style. I thought it looked fantastic. I liked the cast, and just kind of a fun little horror film here. I shouldn't say little; it's maybe a little bigger than that, but really enjoyed it. Would like to revisit it, and yeah, I had a good time with it. I quite like Ryan Coogler. I think I've been a fan of pretty much all his stuff, except for I was not crazy about Black Panther 2. But the first Creed, I think, is still above and beyond. I think that is his best work. I love the original Creed, but I do really like Sinners and Black Panther and Fruitvale Station as well. He's put out some great stuff. So yeah, Sinners was a nice, pleasant surprise earlier in the year.
Yeah, I went out to the theater to watch that one with fiance. I really liked it. She loved it. I think she liked it quite a lot more than I did, but I still really liked it. I've not seen Fruitvale Station, but I've seen all of his other stuff, and yeah, I think Creed is an important in a lot of ways. And I think it nails pretty much everything it's trying to accomplish. And very special movie for me when I went to see that with my brother in the theater, because like we've always had like strong ties to the Rocky franchise in general, and the angle with which that one approaches like renewing the franchise is really artfully, like very skillfully done. In particular for people, I think like of like our relative age range, I guess. But yeah, I really enjoyed Sinners. Like you said, Black Panther 2. That movie had a lot of strikes against it before it even came out. Like,
yeah,
I mean, your star passing away in the midst of production is like, okay. And then, you know, in the midst of like the COVID scandal with the one actress, it's like Disney's kind of got cold feet about pushing her as hard as they may have otherwise, like putting as much enthusiasm behind her as they otherwise probably would have.
Yeah.
Then on top of it, just from a cinematography standpoint, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with that movie for me, but I don't say this very often. Because this is actually a common complaint that sometimes I roll my eyes at, about like movies being like lit poorly and too dark. where it's like I couldn't see the movie, like Aliens versus Predator Requiem. That's like a common joke about that movie. It's like I couldn't. It was cool when I could see it, but I couldn't actually see the movie. It's like I can see the movie. It's like doesn't make it better, but I can see it. Black Panther 2, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with the projector or whatever. I could not see that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like that whole opening thing on the tanker ship, I was like, people are flipping and flopping on this tanker, and I can't see. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's no wonder I fell asleep in the theater. It was pitch black in there.
I think it was Doug Walker commenting on Les Miserables. He made the joke of not since I have shook my head in a dark room have I seen action like this.
Oh wow, that's a good one. I forgot about that. Shit. But Levi, did you see Sinners? Thoughts, feelings?
I did see Sinners. I saw it in theaters. I actually had to politely accost the theater workers to adjust the projector because I'm like, guys, this isn't even filling up the whole screen.
Oh,
guys, we're like missing like 5 feet on every side of the screen. I'm like, guys, this is terrible. We're not actually. I'm like, somebody needs to go swap this out. And in theater at the time, there was probably like of us. I'm like, I'm gonna go, and I went out during the opening, so I missed probably about 2-3 minutes of the opening, just to be like, guys, could you like fix this? Like seriously, you need to fix this because this ain't right. And yeah, they came in and they adjusted and they blew it up to the proper size. It's like, listen, okay. I don't have much of a problem with doing that. I mean, it's just one of the, like, some people making a knock against theaters constantly where they're just like, they're talking about how shit the theater experience has gotten. I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of accept it. It's just kind of a hazard. It's kind of a hazard of it. I wish they wouldn't do it, but
yeah.
I for the most part really enjoyed the movie. I think the music was a ton of that. Goodness gracious, that rendition of Rocky Road is freaking bananas. Overall, I think it was a pretty good picture. I have the same problem with it that I did from Dusk Till Dawn, is that I'm like, wow, I was really enjoying this thing you were setting up until there were vampires.
Yeah.
It's like I loved this story, this like sort of crime story that you were crafting, and sort of this like, because the first half feels almost like a kind of a Scorsese style setup, and it's so well crafted and it's so interesting, and then the movie just kind of like we're in a different genre now, and I was very frustrated by that. I'm like, come on, guys, like I was loving what you were crafting here. I wasn't waiting for the twist. It is the other side of the coin. I was watching Godzilla -1, and there was a feeling where it was, wow, I could just watch this Japanese drama unfold without the big radioactive lizard. Like, this is so incredible. And then Godzilla shows up, and I'm like, oh, I'm still having fun because it's a Godzilla movie. This was the other side of that coin, where it's like, I'm really enjoying this first half, and then the genre stuff happens, and then I'm like, wow, I seem to care a lot less about what's happening, because I was digging what you were saying about music and morality and crime and sort of the time that this takes place in. So it's like it's a half and half affair for me, because it's still a good movie overall, and I think it's worth seeing. But that first half is so doggone strong that it made me kind of bemoan the second half a little bit.
Yeah. I don't have as strong feelings as you, but I would definitely concede that something switches in that second half where it's less tight. Just from a technical standpoint alone, that first half is really beautifully constructed, and the second half it accelerates in kind of an unwanted sort of fashion. And when you finally get to like what's supposed to be like what feels like a setup to what's supposed to be like a big blow off, like a big finale kind of, it really shits the bed a little bit. Like it really doesn't deliver when the place gets opened up. Like you kind of you expect a little bit more there. Instead, it turns into just kind of a muddy mess. But overall, I think it has a lot more strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, I think a certain thing happens when the siege component of it kicks in that just starts to it starts to get a little looser than it was, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm mostly in agreement with you guys. I do think that the siege component specifically is, it's fine, but not the film's strongest suit, and that's kind of what really the back half of the movie hinges on.
Yeah, it was fun seeing Michael B. Jordan flex some actual like acting muscles, like actually embody, like wholeheartedly embody two very different people. Like it was cute from a filmmaking standpoint how they have them color coded at the beginning of the movie. And then it's like Billy and Jimmy Lee or something. But then it's like, okay, you now know their quirks and like their, I don't know, their body languages and such, speech patterns and stuff. So it shows good faith on the part of the filmmaker, like being like, okay, I trust you now. You don't need the color coding anymore to know who's who. And then one of them turns into a fucking vampire, and then it becomes pretty easy. But there's that middle portion where the filmmaker's like letting you kind of make the determination yourself.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, it's because of something like that. I was very impressed. I was very impressed with him kind of flexing his muscles there. And the acting across the board is very, very strong. And it feels like so much of that takes a backseat in that second half. It's like it made me want. I'm like, guys, we had a real movie. We had a real, honest to God picture here in this first half. And then I think it's because the first half of Sinners is something I can only get from Sinners. The second half of Sinners I can get other places. I can get a siege movie. I can get a movie with kinetic action and like big crazy and all this craziness. I can get that thing. I can get those things elsewhere. That first half I can only get here. And it made me wish that it just kept going for the whole movie because I was so locked into what it was laying down.
Yeah, that's a really good point because that is a story and a setup that, I mean, it's a familiar story, but it's not one that I can think of off the top of my head being represented on film terribly often, at least in contemporary cinema. Because it is like, if you completely excise the vampire component of it, it's an intriguing concept. It's like these are a pair of criminal brothers who are trying to set up an establishment for themselves in a location where it's not welcome, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an external force in the form of fucking vampires. It can be anything, honestly, that applies pressure to the narrative going forward. So that's a really good point, Levi. I hadn't considered that. But yeah, so I've got two more picks I can make, and I'm gonna let you boys decide which one comes first. So I got a couple of 4Ks, and I got Vinegar Syndrome stuff. What's coming next?
Well, why don't you do? I'd say Vinegar Syndrome. We already saw a couple 4Ks from you, so let's go Vincent.
Again, this was.
Is this a Black Friday order?
No, actually, it's not. This is me actually paying full price for this shit like an idiot. Okay. But I saw something on their store that I knew I wanted because Levi and I were doing Barbarian Cinema Month. So this was actually a while ago. This was like, I think, before we started recording, Levi. But as research, I was like, I want that now. And I guess I'll pay for it. So I did. I have here a pair of discs, one of which I have watched, one of which is still wrapped, but I hope to watch very soon. So this is one that, Brad, I know you have, and you have the slipcase, you fuck. I don't. Very jealous. Although not really, because I don't know if you've watched this, but I have. And I don't think I need the slipcase for this. I have from Dark Star Pictures via Vinegar Syndrome, King on Screen. Now, Brad, I'm going to ask you before I get into anything else further. Have you watched this yet? Because I know you have this, and I know you have the slipcase, and I don't. You fuck.
What do you think the answer to that is?
Of course not.
Of course I haven't watched
Brad
it.
treats his Blu-rays like fucking wine. It's like it's got to be on the shelf for 8 years before
Exactly.
I crack it open.
Yeah.
Brad, have you watched anything you own?
That I own? Not recently. No, not recently. I've been too busy watching. Well, actually, no. I did watch because I've been watching Ron Howard movies. So I did watch Solo, a Star Wars story, which I own. I watched that last night. So, yeah.
Quality picture.
Quality picture. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, this I'll just tell you, Brad, being as you haven't watched it, this is not very good. It's charming. But Levi, if you're not familiar, King on Screen, this is a documentary about Stephen King films, like adaptations. They don't really talk about Maximum Overdrive, which is a big part of the problem with this documentary, is that they don't talk about it's not comprehensive.
That's the
Like,
one he wrote.
And directed. It's the one he directed, King on Screen. What the fuck? But yeah, like Children of the Corn also gets like a blurb. Firestarter, I think, is shown in clips only, and there's not a word spoken about it. Hi, Roy. But the lack of comprehensiveness is a huge knock against it. They get a lot of very good interviews. Most of the people they interview in this are directors. They speak very extensively with Frank Darabont. And Mick Garris, of course, because Mick Garris is the easiest interview to secure ever.
Yeah.
Very friendly man. Lovely head of hair, but talented, super talented director he is not. But very friendly, very affable man. But yeah, this doesn't cover as much as you would really want it to. It's very Shining centric. Like they talk so much about Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, like specifically that version of it. And it's like, bitch, I can get that anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I can learn about The Shining. I can watch a 10-hour YouTube documentary. I can talk to Levi about The Shining and learn a lot about The Shining probably. I don't need this documentary for that. Talk about the other ones. Like talk about Cat's Eye. Fucking Cat's Eye. I want to hear about Cat's Eye. Talk about Sleepwalkers. Talk about fucking Sleepwalkers. Or Silver Bullet. Talk about fucking Silver Bullet. Just talk about other things. It's just not very comprehensive. It's very disappointing. I was hoping it would be very thorough. It's pretty loose. They do get some good interviews, but it's not as varied as I was hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a personal favorite, like B tier Stephen King adaptation? Because it's like, everyone, well, The Shining. It's like, well, that's everyone says that.
Yeah. Brad saw that in the theater, I think, recently, right?
Yeah, I saw it in IMAX.
Very cool.
Yep.
B tier.
I know mine. If you need to think about it, Trevor, mine's.
I do need.
I got mine with a bullet.
Okay, we'll go for it then.
Pet Cemetery. If you consider that B tier, I love.
I would.
Pet Cemetery.
Anyone that came out from that era where it has a self-titled theme song at the end, you're in B tier.
I would say for his novels, people consider that A tier, but for his movies, I think people consider it B tier. And okay. I love the movie Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, I think that's accurate in terms of like the movie and the novel evaluation. Yeah. But I'm still thinking, Levi, do you have one?
This is kind of a weird one, and I only bring it up because nobody ever mentions it ever. Storm of the Century.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. TV movie, right?
Yeah. So it's a mini series. It's a 2-parter, so it's about 3 hours. King wrote it specifically for television. It was not a book first.
Mm-hmm.
And it is damn good.
Okay.
Like, typically when I get snowed in, I put it on because it's so effective and it's such a simple setup. And again, it's one that I don't think anybody talks about, and I think it's a real shame because it is real quality stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. They do mention that on the doc very briefly. I'll give them some praise for that. That Storm of the Century is acknowledged at the very least, and they show a couple of clips from it. I think for me, and I think Silver Bullet might be mine. I love the Jay Chataway, I think, did the score for it. It has a banger of a theme song. Gary Busey is he is the perfect crazy uncle. Like if you need to cast a man as a crazy uncle, you pick correctly. Everett McGill as the werewolf is an inspired choice. I've always kind of liked him just for his bone structure. Fuck.
Terry O'Quinn. Terry O'Quinn's in that one, right?
He is the sheriff. Yes.
Love that man.
He gets bopped in the head with a baseball bat. I think that one. Yeah, he's a great actor. He's very solid. He's a Lost alum, isn't he, Brad?
Oh yeah, John Locke himself.
Yeah. See, I never watched Lost, but I know Brad is a big fan. And also, this is hard to call this like B tier because in terms of like a film production, it had a sizable budget behind it. I don't imagine it did very well, but Dreamcatcher actually was one that I think I had read the book like not too far before the movie was announced. So it was kind of like perfect timing. So it was one of those instances where it's like, oh, actually, this is a rare instance where it's like I'm ahead of the movie. So that was kind of a big deal for me. And also the casting's fun on that one. I mean, you have Tom Jane. Anytime he shows up, it always makes me happy. And Damian Lewis dropping his accent and putting it back. He uses his accent when he's not supposed to be. They reverse it. It's actually kind of fun. Or it's like he has like a villain personage that he adopts at a certain point in the movie, and he's a British actor. So he just speaks in his British voice when he's being evil because Hollywood production,
Nice,
British
yeah.
is code for evil. But yeah, those two might be my favorite. Also, Cat's Eye does have a special place in my heart just because it's so fucking hokey. And also, I remember being kind of creeped out by it when I was a kid.
That's fun. That's a fun one.
I mean, I'm a sucker for an anthology. I mean, Creep Show's not a B tier, but you know that's a great one too. Anyway, welcome to the Stephen King podcast. Apparently,
Yeah. What about the last one, Levi? Have you seen Rose Red? I think it was from that same sort of era as Storm of the Century. I love that one.
I haven't seen Rose Red. That was like 2005, 2006, right? Like it was a little later.
2000s
later.
for sure.
Yeah, it was. I want to say early 2000s. When was Storm of the Century then? I thought that was
like early to mid 90s because it has Tim Daly, who is fresh off of Wings, but it was prior to him doing Superman.
Okay. Yeah. So that was more the Stand era miniseries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Those
is
miniseries are classic. They're none of them are like amazing except for apparently Storm of the Century is very good, but there's a charm to them. I miss the miniseries. That's a format that was very special to me when I was a kid. Like I still have The Beast and The Odyssey from the 90s on my shelf on DVD.
I watched The Odyssey for the first time this summer because I found it on tape. I found a tape that had the whole thing, and I'm like, this is freaking awesome.
I liked it a lot. Like I thought it was terrific.
So good.
It has teeth to it for a TV movie. It's pretty mean at times. Like the Cyclops sequence is legitimately pretty intense.
The Henson Workshop and Rico from Judge Dredd. Let's go.
Armando Sante. Powerful actor, man.
Love him.
Okay, so I got a couple more. I have this is from I don't actually know who put this out, but ETR Media, Brad. I don't know if you know them, but this is also a Vincent purchase. I have Nevermore, The Raven Effect.
Oh.
This is a documentary about a pro wrestler named Raven, who I think has some serious health problems at the moment. Still around, I believe, but he's not doing so hot. He's from ECW, uh, Extreme Championship Wrestling, out of Philly, I think, or Pennsylvania, essentially. He would later go on to join WCW. His specialty was like hardcore wrestling, and you can tell from his attire here, he kind of had the punk rock and grunge aesthetic to him. Really well known for his promo work and his extreme wrestling. Apparently did a lot of work behind the scenes, like in terms of like writing and like story crafting and stuff. He was like instrumental in evolving the medium in a lot of fashion. I don't know that much about him though. And when I caught wind of this documentary, I was like, oh, I really want to see that, because I've always heard, like, when you see interviews with other wrestlers, he's one of those artists. He's the artist that his contemporaries cite him as like, oh, you want to see a real genius? Go talk to Raven. But then, like, you as an outside observer, somebody who's not involved in the art form, are like, this guy? It's like, really? That's the guy that everybody, like all the other wrestlers, put on a pedestal? And so I'm curious, like, what that'll be. And then finally, the thing that I actually got for Barbarian Cinema Month, I have here a book purchased through Vinegar Syndrome. Barbarians, From Conan to He-Man, a cinematic history of Conan exploitation. This is a tome with poster art, everything. Here's Hundra. You ever heard of Hundra, Levi?
I think it's free on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a lot of these that are free on YouTube. We got that's David Carradine as the warrior and the sorceress. There is, I think, the last entry in this, Levi, is Beastmaster 3. I think it is.
Wow.
Yeah, the very last page, Beastmaster 3. There's a Candyman himself, Brad. So yeah, this was a really fun read. It's a pretty decent, like, fairly comprehensive compendium about Barbarian cinema, largely from the 80s, but going all the way into the mid 90s. And it's structured in a way where it's in release date order, which I really enjoyed, because it doesn't matter like what territory or who made it or who the star was. It's basically just like, this is the evolution of this subgenre. And it starts with Conan the Barbarian, the John Milius film, and then it takes us all the way to Beastmaster 3. But yeah, it was a really fun read. I did actually read the whole thing cover to cover before we started recording, Levi. Really well researched too. So that, I didn't know that Vinegar Syndrome did books, Brad, but they do, and that one's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I'm missed that one somehow. It like it's is it like branded Vinegar Syndrome anywhere on the book, or is it?
No, it says Pulse Video is
Okay.
what is the publishing label. Out of France, apparently. Interesting. Didn't know that. The French appreciation of the French cinema.
Wow, French.
Brad, do you have any drops from that?
Barbarians.
From the Paul Masson wine commercials?
I don't believe I do. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I have anything on the board.
I think Kyle and I, in daily conversation, at least once every time I see that man, say, it doesn't do anything?
It doesn't do anything.
And also just, nah. It's classic.
There is an advertising sign for Paul Masson champagne, and it's "We will serve no wine before it's time" on eBay right now. And I'm like, I may have to. I'm like, because it's like, to somebody who doesn't know, it's just like, oh, what a lovely decoration. To me, I would snicker every time I looked at it.
Just like put it in the hall, so every time you round the corner, that's what greets you. Yeah, I would want that.
The French.
Oh, the French champagne. Levi, have you ever seen the commercial for the Dark Tower board game that he did?
You sent me that.
Yeah. And I was victorious.
I was victorious.
It's like you sound very surprised at that, sir. Okay, well, obviously, there's not a whole lot to be said about all that stuff that we didn't already say. The Stephen King conversation, I'm really glad we got that in there. But Levi, you're next up, buddy. What is your next holiday haul pick?
All right, perfect. Well, I was having a bit of a lousy day when this arrived in the mail from my dear friend John Epps. He sent me Sundown, Vampire in Retreat on VHS.
Ooh.
Whoa.
So this is a picture directed by Anthony Hickox of Waxworks fame.
Okay.
So this is amazing. It's a wonderful picture. It premiered at Cannes when it came out in 1990 and then had no theatrical release. It never screened in theaters. It went to Cannes, went to VHS, so this copy is actually a little pricey. And then I think it's still pretty much unreleased. I think it streams like via like Pluto TV or something right now. Like, I heard about this probably about 2 weeks before this showed up in the mail. I'm like, oh hey. So the movie is a neo-Western of vampires that essentially set up in the middle of the Southwest because they're kind of sick of it. They're kind of sick of hunting people. They're kind of sick of being hunted themselves. So they set up this big commune where they drink vegan, like, artificial blood, and they slather themselves in sunscreen so they can kind of like go out and live. And they don't really get any visitors. So we follow this kind of like goofy, small town community of vampires, a scientist and his family that they've called in to repair the artificial blood plant that they have in town, and a slow brooding and growing uprising of vampires who, like, we're not supposed to live like this. We're sick of the artificial blood. We're sick of all of it. And I don't care if we're breaking peace. We're going to rise up. We're going to free this community, and we're going to eat whatever the hell we want. We're going back to the human world, and we're going to hunt because we're not supposed to live like this. So it kind of has like this comedic edge to it, where it is like there's a lot of like kind of small town politics. Like in the opening of the movie, a traveler is killed because he pisses off the gas station attendant. And they're like, Cletus, we told you to stop doing that. He's like, he pissed me off. He pissed me off. I'm sorry. So they're like, well, you're gonna have to turn yourself in down at the jailhouse. And he's just like, hell, I suppose I will. And it's like, it kind of has this tone, but there is like legitimate horror to it as well. Bruce Campbell appears as a several generations removed Van Helsing.
Oh.
So he comes in with glasses and a little mustache and like a tweed suit, and he's like, have you guys seen any vampires around here? And all of them are like, no, vampires? We have no idea. And David Carradine is like, listen, folks, it's not spoilers, I guess. David Carradine takes up his father's mantle as Dracula. So Carradine comes in as Dracula. It goes from like a small town kind of like misunderstanding, almost like Salem's Lot-esque story, to full on Old West scene.
Nice.
And it's so much fun. It's so freaking cool.
So,
Yeah.
Brad, I think, owns this movie on Blu-ray, not VHS. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brad. This is part. You mentioned Waxworks, Levi, and that got my brain working. When I think Waxworks in contemporary terms, I think Vestron Video, and Brad had made a commitment years ago. You have all the Vestron titles, yes?
Up until they started only doing Lionsgate.com exclusives, I have not bought the last few. But other than that, yes. And
Okay,
yeah,
so do you have this one?
the
Be
question,
cool to get
do
the
I have
Blu-ray
it?
on the
Is
screen too.
yes. Have I watched it? No.
So we already knew that, Brad.
But
I'm
I
just
have to say
curious.
that you're definitely selling me on it, Levi, because that it does sound awesome. Yeah.
It's a total blast.
Yeah, I mean,
love.
I like Waxworks. Like, I haven't seen the second
Yeah.
one, but Waxworks is a wonderful, like, very irreverent and also just like a cool grab bag of special effects and gags and stuff. Like, there's an element of fun there. Hearing you talk about that one, Sundown, it sounds like that's well preserved in this guy's filmography.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that could be something we talk about, Levi, because I just looked it up and it is available on Tubi.
Yeah.
It can be streamed. Sundown is now available.
I love these old guys sitting on the porch swing with the big sunglasses on. That's a good Halloween costume right there. That's a good, if you got two buddies, you and two buddies with the big straw hats and sunglasses, that'd be a good Halloween costume.
Very cool.
Yeah. They're the guys that run the gas station, like just outside of town. So
Gotcha.
their entire job is to monitor the one road that goes into the city, and because people will be like, "Hey, is there like something?" And they're like, "Nope." "Do you have a telephone?" "Nope." Like, they're the first line of defense. So if anybody actually drives past them, they like radio into town. They're like, "Listen, act natural," like something.
Yeah.
Like, there's like, they have a diner in the town, and like a character comes in, like one of the human characters comes in and asks for a cup of coffee, and all of them kind of look at each other like, "Do we have coffee?" Like, is this something? And like, "Yeah, sir, we'll get you that." Like, none of them know how to make coffee. Pretty sure they don't have any coffee. The diner's just for show. It's not supposed to serve food.
Yeah, that's good.
Makes me think of Hot Shots Part 2 when they're pretending to be incompetent fishermen. It's like, okay, we need to be fishermen, but everything we do, we need to make sure we do very poorly. It's like that's the assignment. You understand? It popped into my head. I'd never actually seen this movie, but this is we used to do a thing on Catching Up on Cinema called VHS Cover Art Month, and Kyle and I would make our picks entirely based on just like childhood memories, or not necessarily childhood memories, but just the cover art for VHS tapes that we recall coming across in our travels, but had never actually pulled the trigger on seeing. Because, you know, if you go to a video store, especially back in the day when tapes were what you had, it was a wonderful experience just collecting all these cover art, these memories of cover art that they really had to do a good job back in the day. Like, they don't have to anymore, especially with like the streaming environment. It's not what makes the sale anymore. It's like it used to be like comic books. Well, I guess comic books still adhere to this rule, but it's like your cover artist is almost always a different person than the interior artist of a comic book. And the reason for that is because the cover is what sells the thing to a lot of people. And the same goes for like VHS tapes back in the day. So you got some really amazing, gnarly covers back in the day, especially for horror movies, because it needed to be eye-catching and had to stand out in some fashion. Anyway, as you were talking about this one, I've read up on this movie a little bit in subsequent years, but I never actually watched it. But as you were talking about the concept of this one, Levi, a movie came to mind called Bleeders. Have either of you heard of this one? Because I remember the cover art for this one creeped me out when I was a kid.
I don't think so. No.
The premise of it is it's apparently like it sounds like a vampire, as a vampirism as a form of like a blood disease, And so there's monstrous vampires that like cannot venture out in public because they're physically deformed and things like that. But there's like a central character in it who discovers he's a vampire because he has like a rare blood disease that just so happens to align pretty strongly with what a vampire is. I don't know why, it just popped into my head, and I was curious if either of you had seen it. Okay, well that was a complete waste of time. Awesome.
I'll look into it. It seems neat.
I'll add it to the list.
It's probably not good, but I think it came out in the late '90s, and if you look up the cover art for it, you'll see why 10-year-old Trevor remembers it. It's because it does jump out at you a little bit. It's got like deformed vampire faces on the cover, and also I think it was usually nestled pretty close to the Brood on the shelf, and the Brood also had a pretty gnarly cover back in the day. It wasn't, as far as I remember, the cover art for the Brood was I think it was just like a bubble with like hands pressing out on it or something. But if you like flip the box over, it had some pretty chilling images of like the deformed children like busting through a door or something. Anyway, so I think the next pick is you, Brad. What's your next holiday haul pick?
Well, I might just I've got a couple more gifts here, but I might just not. Maybe if we do a speed round, we'll touch those. But I might just go through my 3 Black Friday pickups here because I think they're maybe a little more interesting. I actually bought 4 movies on Black Friday. One of them still has not arrived, so I'll talk about these 3. I purchased, and one of these was not on sale, but I just wanted to buy it, and I had some swag bucks left over, so I purchased weapons. I purchased. Now this was $11.99. Keep in mind this next one was $11.99. All right, keep that in mind. I have Drop, the Blumhouse classic thriller Drop.
What?
And I have William Friedkin's Sorcerer on Criterion 4K. So we have a 3 stone cold classics right here.
All on the same Black strata.
Absolutely. No, with Drop, I was like, do I need Drop? Do I want Drop? And I didn't mind Drop. I thought Drop was kind of fun. Not that I'm itching to revisit it, but you got to buy at least one $12 4K on Black Friday. I gotta get at least one. That's what's so great about Black Friday is you buy the things that, it's like I was always eventually going to get weapons. I was always going to get Sorcerer. But Drop, that is a Black Friday. That's the only time I will buy Drop on 4K, and I bought it. I did it. I pulled the trigger.
Okay, well, which of those do you think you're most likely to watch?
Drop. Whatever the question is.
Drop all the way.
No, sorry. What was the question?
Which of those do you think you're most likely to watch first?
Probably Drop.
It's probably the shortest, if I had to guess.
Yeah. No, I mean, I probably will revisit weapons before doing my best of 2025 list. But I do really want to revisit Sorcerer. I watched it for the first time a few years ago. Really enjoyed it. I do have the Wages of Fear Criterion release, so now it's nice having both of them. But yeah, definitely, probably weapons will be the one I pop in first.
Yeah, when is your year-end wrap-up?
We'll see. There's always one release that doesn't come out until January, aside from New York and LA. And this year it seems like it's going to be No Other Choice, the Park Chan-wook movie.
Yeah.
Not opening around here until January 23rd.
Really?
So yeah. And that one I looks pretty good. Looks like it could be a contender. So I might hold off until that one comes out to make my list.
I mean, yeah, you tend to be pretty thorough with those. I love your year-end wrap-up at the awards. Do you have is it the Speakies?
Yeah, the Speakies, yeah.
Speakies.
Oh, yeah. Gotta get those, gotta get the votes counted up and all that, so.
Yeah, Levi, Brad does a year-end wrap-up thing called the Speakies where he doles, it's like his own Oscars, basically. And his categories are very specific, and all of them are wonderful.
Yeah, it's the real
all
Oscars.
Right.
The real Oscars.
Yeah, the real. The Jessie Buckley Award is retired, correct?
Well, she's retired from the award.
And big year for her too. That
I know.
sucks. That sucks
Yeah.
for the buck.
She won it 3 years in a row. She can't win it anymore. So yeah.
Well, I look forward to listening to that, but I don't know shit about Drop.
Drop?
But we've talked about Sorcerer plenty of times on this podcast, and yeah, excellent. I've not seen Wages of Fear, but I remember you saying you like they're like neck and neck, or like on a certain on any given day, like one could top the other. Honestly,
yeah. I mean, Sorcerer is a little more
Levi's
stylish.
shaking his head.
I think the Wages of Fear is very good. I really like the Wages of Fear. Style points, I think Sorcerer gets the bill. But yeah, I could go either way on which one I prefer.
Okay, well, Levi, I need to know the story behind this head shake. What's going on, buddy?
So the biggest problem with Wages of Fear is the French. It's that kind of covers it, but it like the problem with Wages of Fear and the difference between that and Sorcerer is in Wages of Fear, our lead is so insufferable that I really don't care if he makes it out alive. I really don't care. And it's like he's so awful to the people around him. And there is, it's manages to that are not good people. None of them are good people. They're all kind of stuck in this situation. But at the same time, you kind of feel for them because they are very human and they have very human reactions to what's going on around them. Our lead in Wages of Fear really just is so nasty and nihilistic and frustrating. And he is a very French cinema hero. And I just don't find him at all engaging to watch because he just does not feel human. And on top of that, it's like a lot of the really nice sequences from Sorcerer are taken from Wages of Fear, and it's like, and I understand that. It's just I don't. In the same way we talked about Wrath of God previously, where it's like, okay, so here's the basis of this, and it's fine as it is, but the film, the book for Wrath of God is a fine template that I feel like the film really managed to make into something better with what it has. Wages of Fear is a great template that I think Sorcerer perfected. Because the action is tighter, the suspense is greater, and we just have characters that when they go out, it's gut-wrenching. You don't want to see them go. Where with Wages of Fear, our lead is so unlikable and our other characters are so nebulous, I really didn't feel much when they went. So that's my big thing.
No, I'm happy to hear it. Like I said, I haven't actually seen Wages of Fear, but it's nice to hear a different take on it. And one of these days I'll have to get around to watching it, just because I'm endlessly intrigued by the process of iteration. Like I like to see the same story two different. Like I like to see two different artists take on a singular thing, just because I usually find value in both. It's you say. Sorcerer kind of like perfected what Wages of Fear laid down. It's a rare thing, and it's always special when you come across that, where it's like, oh, I'm really, really glad we took that second swing at that, because now we have what in your mind, what it should have been or what it could have been. So yeah, I'll have to get around to that at some point. Okay, well, I only have one more thing to share. And then, if you don't mind, guys, I got to get back to real life. So you guys can do a speed round between the two of you. But this is going to have to be the last major pick here. So I'll just go ahead and throw up what I got. So these are not Black Friday. These are actually purchased from Scarecrow Video. So not a secondhand store, actually. So it's a living museum of media. and rental store in a Seattle area. Check it out if you're in the area. And they do sell contemporary Blu-rays and also used Blu-rays. They sell, they rent, they do it all. So these, or at least one of these, apparently there was like a short, like the initial run of it was short. So for a minute there, this was like insanely overpriced. And I guess rare, even though it was a contemporary release, but it's since been rectified as far as I understand. Anyway, I have the 1-2 punch here of John Woo's The Killer and Hard Boiled on 4K with a booklet and the whole deal. Yeah, these are amazing films, kind of like genre defining in our region. Heroic bloodshed is often cited as like the subgenre of film that these embody, that John Woo is kind of instrumental in promoting, in particular in like outside of the Hong Kong film system. Like he did join Hollywood at a certain point. There was a great exodus of Hong Kong filmmaking talent in the 90s. Presumably, I never actually have found a straightforward explanation to this, but I've always assumed it had to do with the handover in 1997, the 100-year lease that the British government had over the city of Hong Kong, or the territory of Hong Kong. I think there was like an anticipation of a lot of tumult that would come out of that scenario. So a lot of artists and a lot of creatives fled Hong Kong in the late 90s or in the mid 90s, and then eventually found their way back. Like John Woo went back to China and stuff. But there's a reason why we saw a lot of Hong Kong filmmakers working in Hollywood around this time, and John Woo is probably the most prolific and successful of them. And these two movies are, along with A Better Tomorrow, that he only did the first two movies. There is a trilogy of them. Those movies are all kind of what made him have a reputation outside of his region. The Killer was shown to me on Laserdisc when I was in middle school. We had a neighborhood friend who had a Laserdisc and a surround sound system with the chair in the middle of the room. The chair. I got to experience The Killer on Laserdisc in the chair. That was the first time I ever watched that movie. I'd ever even heard of it, and I was a very young man. I was like 12 or 13 years old. So that was a special privilege, kind of life-changing in a lot of ways, because I've always had since around that age, since like middle school age, I've had a really strong interest in import cinema, largely from Asia, like China, Japan, Korea, Thailand, pretty much anywhere. And I was like mail ordering a lot of movies and stuff, and experiencing that movie via the chair was the best introduction anyone could ever hope to get to that sort of thing. And Hard Boiled was always like, for a long time, that was like the white whale for a long time, because it was known. Like my brother told me about it, but I wasn't able to find like copies of it on VHS or DVD for a really long time. And then when I finally did, it did not disappoint. In terms of like gunplay and pyrotechnics, it is genre defining. It is kind of like the apex of the art form. I do always consider The Killer the better of the two movies. I think it's a really awesome story, and it shows the right level of restraint. Where Hard Boiled is just completely just like blow up the hospital, just like blow up the whole fucking building. Whereas The Killer, it's like it shows a little bit of restraint. The timing of the action cues and the length of them in particular is more reasonable, because it's trying to tell us, it's more focused on telling a story. Hard Boiled is like pure spectacle. But the 1-2 punch of both of these movies it's a really special thing. And to have them both on like beautiful 4K is doubly special, because even on Laserdisc, I've never had an opportunity to view either of these movies in any sort of acceptable visual fidelity. Like they've always looked like dog shit on DVD. They've always looked like dog shit on VHS. They've always looked like dog shit on Laserdisc. But now they're cleaned up in a tasteful way. Just like watching The Killer on 4K was like, that's what that looks like. And the sound in Hong Kong movies is dog shit. It's just you got to understand that's what it is. All like it's like Italian cinema of a certain age. Like everybody's dubbed. It doesn't matter what language they're speaking. All the sound is probably in mono. All the sound effects are from Scooby Doo. It's what it is. But these discs look incredible, and they also retranslated the subtitles, which is a really big thing, because it's my understanding that Cantonese and Mandarin are very, very difficult languages to translate into English. I have seldom experienced movies in those languages translated into English and had it be a totally seamless experience. Like even the most professional subtitling jobs I've ever seen always have some eccentricities to them that it's like, I don't know if there's a clean way to convey what's being said here. And the subtitling here is more cohesive than the DVDs and the VHS tapes that I had seen when I was younger. It enhances the experience a little bit. Like I do appreciate it just a little bit more. So yeah, these were ones that I was at Scarecrow Video in December with my friend. Like I said, I gave him a tour of the place, and I saw those behind the front desk, and I was like, "Oh, I guess we're opening our wallet."
Like, gotta do it.
Like you got to do it. So I did, and I've already watched The Killer. I watched the tea house sequence from Hard Boiled because that's what you do when you bring that disc home. Haven't gotten around to watching the rest of it, but I will very shortly. So yeah, I splurged on both of those. Not Black Friday, just paid the man, paid Scarecrow Video.
Those are Shout releases, right?
Yeah, they have a new here I'll show you. They have a new label here. Hong Kong Cinema Classics. It looks like a HKCC.
Nice.
Yeah, they have a whole a whole eye catch like graphic that plays on the disc when you first put it in. Like it is a product line. These are numbered spines actually. This is 17, and curiously, even though The Killer came out before 18, so it's actually a bit of a problem. Honestly, they're cranking these out, Brad.
Yeah,
they're cranking out all the heavy hitters from Hong Kong cinema. Of a certain vintage, like City on Fire, Prison on Fire, A Better Tomorrow trilogy, these. It's overwhelming. It's like you gotta tamp it down a bit, man. Like I only got so much money.
They slowed down just a hair, you'd be buying a lot more. But now you can't even keep up. You just say, what the hell with it?
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, that is kind of what's happening. It's like I already have A Better Tomorrow 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. I'm not super interested in the third one because it's not a John Woo movie. But that's like maybe already out, honestly, like within the past month or so. And I think I'm just gonna skip it. It's like I already have them. I already have access to them in some fashion. I don't necessarily need.
Perhaps it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. I need to live. I need to eat. But yeah, that was my big 4K pickups. So that is it for me. And like I said, I gotta get back to real life. But if you guys want to do a speed round, I'm game. I got enough time for that.
I don't have anything else on me. I could lift up what would be here real fast.
Oh,
I only have one other.
Okay, well, sure. If you have it on hand, then you throw it on up and let's see it. But otherwise, you can just tell us. If you need a minute, Brad can show what he's got.
Yeah. So this is where I would be holding the copy of The Rocketeer on Laserdisc that I was given.
Oh wow!
A friend of mine, I was very proud. My friend Cody says, "Dude, my wife found this for you." I'm like, "Your wife found it?" He's like, independent. Wow. He's like, "I wasn't even there, man. I wasn't even there. She just found this and was like, hey, I think Levi would like this." And I'm like, "Good job."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I love The Rocketeer dearly. I love sort of the pulp era of it and everything. Oh my, the freaking score is so beautiful. It's such a fun movie. It is one of those like perfect Saturday afternoon adventure pictures that they really don't make anymore. And I think it's a shame because it is so earnest and fun. And the effects are hit or miss in places. Some of the blue screen is a little funky, but it's this big rollicking score, and there's great performances all around. And I only own it on VHS, so I'm like, finally, I can see it in widescreen again. Eventually,
Nice.
eventually I'll get a Blu-ray or something, but that's probably a little far off in the future. So I was very blessed by that gift, and I would love to show it to you if I remembered to bring it.
Nah. Oh, we heard about it, and that is a lovely story. Like that is somebody's wife doing the work. Like wow, that's a hell of a pick. Great ass movie too. I remember. I actually was fortunate. I got to see that in the theater. I really pushed. Like I was like, Mom, Dad, I really want to see this Rocketeer picture. They were like, okay, we'll go see the Rocketeer. And the Dick Tracy guy spooked me, as he was intended to do. The jetpack
The rocket.
effects. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know who did the vocal performance, but it wasn't Frank Welker, was it? May have been. Who knows?
I don't think so.
I loved Timothy Dalton in that. He clearly was having a lot of fun with Neville Sinclair. Kind of a perfect role for him. Like fun, twist. And also, hey, we came full circle. Terry O'Quinn, isn't he in there?
Yeah, he plays Howard Hughes, the correct Howard Hughes. I don't listen. You want to be like, oh no, Leonardo DiCaprio is close to life. It's like this is my Howard Hughes. This is how Howard Hughes should be. How I believe he was, even if I'm wrong.
I don't care if it's wrong. This is what I want. It's not that Wave of the Future shit. It's this guy.
Yeah.
No, I like that movie quite a lot. I have it on a Blu-ray. I don't think my fiance's seen that one, but that might be one that she could go for. It's great.
I think she would love it because it's a really well balanced picture.
Yeah, it's an adventure movie in a way that not many, as you say, not many things hit the same notes in the same ratios as that one does. 'Cause it's like it has the bouncy fun banter. It moves pretty quick. You get the Iron Man thing where you get to see the hero kind of come into his own and learn how to use the thing. And it has like a less of an emphasis on violence and more of an emphasis on like there's a thing that we're trying to fix, where there's a thing we're trying to address, and then we have some human drama in between all of it. And it is a rare movie where it's like how did we get this? Like how were we so fortunate to have gotten this?
I am so disappointed it didn't do well.
Yeah. I mean, I think there were Dark Horse comics that came out of it that I think I heard good things about.
Yeah, well, I mean, the character was a comic book created by artist and author Dave Stevens, and the comic is incredible. You can pick it up for like $25-30, Rocketeer: The Complete Adventures, and it is phenomenal. Dave Stevens was a hell of a guy, and he died pretty young too, which is a shame. But yeah, it's the kind of movie that, there's a part of me that kind of shivers a little bit because 90s sequel. Oh no, I'm not so shot that. But there's a part of me that says, man, it deserved better. It deserved a whole hell of a lot better because it beats the pants off of Dick Tracy. It's better than The Shadow. It's better than The Phantom. Like, it's the best pulp type movie we had from that era. And it just got killed at the box office.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually funny. I also was fortunate to have seen Batman Mask of the Phantasm in the theater. and that also notoriously, it's like, it's amazing. It's regarded these days as like a classic, maybe one of the best Batman movies we've ever gotten. But nobody went to see it. And same with Rocketeer, that being the case too, which is really unfortunate because, like, you are correctly. I think among all those pulp action stories that we got from around that time period, it is better than all of those. Like Dick Tracy, I love to look at, but beyond that, it has never worked with me to the extent that I think it does for a lot of other people. But fuck, it is beautiful to look at. Anyway, Brad, do you got anything to show, or are you tapped out?
Nothing much to say about them. Just I'll show my last two gifts. I got Superman, which I quite enjoyed from this year, and Jurassic World Rebirth, which I own all the other ones. So that's what I'll say about that.
Okay, so it's a completionist thing. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw the Jurassic World Rebirth in the theater with Kyle and his wife and my fiance. So we made a special trip to the theater, you see, to see this film on the silver screen, and it's a movie. like it's okay, and then it really shits the bed pretty hard at the very end of all things. Like it's a fine experience up until then. It's adequate cinema. It's like Marvel good, but with dinosaurs. And then you get to like the last couple of scenes, and it's like, really? This is what we're doing with all, like, we have all these pieces laid out, and this is what you're doing with them. Okay, that's an ending, sure. People like Mahershala Ali, apparently. Like the audiences need. It's like Jaws 4: The Revenge. It's like Mario Van Peebles stays in the picture.
You got to bring him back. Bring him back.
Mario Van Peebles gets bit by that shark, but he's okay, depending on which cut you're watching. I definitely remember seeing the cut where he comes back. And I definitely remember seeing the cut where he doesn't. Anyway, Superman. Succinctly, not my cup of tea personally. It's very divisive. Like, I've noticed, like, some people think it's like the bee's knees. Like, this is the shit. Like, this is what I've been wanting from my DC cinema for all these years. And I'm like, it's a couple of really good scenes, but beyond that, it's like it failed to like tap into Kyle's school of thought when it comes to enjoying cinema. It failed to engage me. Like, I just couldn't get into it that much. Is that the quote, Brad?
Yeah, I just couldn't get into it that much.
I just couldn't get into that much.
Yeah, it does seem like that's the. I mean, I haven't seen anybody truly hating it, but yeah, it does seem like the spectrum ranges from it was okay to really good, and I'm more in the really good camp. I quite enjoyed it, but I can see a lot of the criticisms of it as well.
Yeah, how about you, Levi? Have you seen the new one?
The greatest sin that Richard Donner ever committed was making such a good Superman movie that every other Superman movie will leave a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
It is like, it's like the first time you try heroin. I will be chasing that high forever in every subsequent Superman movie.
Yeah.
This one, it's overstuffed is the biggest issue. There's just too much going on. And it's like, I like these actors. For the most part, I like their performances. This version of Lex is not quite what I like, but it's a translation that I will accept.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the thing. It's like, for the most part, this is stuff I will accept. The biggest problem is that we just lack focus. And because we lack focus, I just really can't get into it. It's like, it makes me, I'm trying to latch on to something, and the movie just doesn't sit with anything long enough to really feel like I can actually sink my teeth into it. And James, baby, love ya. The Gunnisms are starting to hurt. They're really starting to hurt me. It's like, guys, I get it. I get it, man. You like quirky fuck-ups. 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 I get it, man. You like quir I'm a little tired of it. I didn't have a bad time with the movie, but a movie that is technically inferior, Fantastic Four First Steps, actually did more for me because the tone was consistent and we had a focus. Technically speaking, it's probably like, I've heard plenty of complaints about that one as well. And I wouldn't even say that it's a great movie, but it has something that Superman doesn't, which is a consistent tone and a consistent focus. Where if Superman had that, if we pared down just a little bit, I really think we would have had a killer picture. But Gunn got in his own way on this one. And it's not that it was horrible and I hated it and I whipped my popcorn across the theater when it was finished. But all I could walk out thinking was, every time I hear the John Williams theme in this movie, my heart swells and I get goosebumps because I love the thing you're evoking, not because I love this.
Yeah.
Doesn't help that actually a word came to mind, that diluted. As you say, overstuffed. I would say it comes across as diluted because all those Gunnisms are present, but they're not as sharp or as impactful as they are in other films of his. But he has a lot of consistent things across his filmography. They're just not done as well here. But oddly enough, seemingly at like uneven frequencies. And one of the biggest sins for me is what you just mentioned, Levi, was the score. I hated the score because they use a portion of the John Williams theme in that movie over and over and over and over again. It's like waving around like some kid that just found their dad's gun. like you need to show some restraint. It's a theme. It's not
Wow.
It's not a soundboard. It's a theme for a character and a theme for a story, and you need to have it. You need to have it carry some weight behind it. Because if you're over, it's like Hulk Hogan dropping a leg drop on somebody as the opening move. It's like, no, you dipshit! Like you gotta work your way up to that. You can't have every move be the big power move. You got to have some filler in between, so that the big power move carries some weight behind it.
Somehow, Joss Whedon's cut of Justice League understands how to use this theme better than you, James Gunn. And that is pretty awful.
You just made me compliment Joss Whedon's Justice League.
Like,
Ouch.
say what you will about that film. When Superman is behind Steppenwolf and you get the first like few horn blasts of that theme, I'm like, I'm here, baby. I'm here. Let's
You're
go.
primed for it. Yeah.
He's in the fight, baby. It's like, I'm waiting to hear, General, you want to step outside. Like, it's impactful in its use, even in a movie that's not all that great, because it's used at the right time.
Well, yeah. I mean, imagine watching Indiana Jones and he's like, I don't know. It's the scene where Marion is like tending to his wounds, and it's going da 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 da. Like, no, what are you doing? That doesn't belong here. Well, anyway, so that was our holiday haul episode. Sounds like you guys got some really amazing gifts, in particular that Rocketeer laser disc. Holy shit. I will probably treat myself to something, but I did not receive any Blu-rays this year. But yeah, this has been our holiday haul discussion for 2025 here at Tales from the Shelf. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. I hope to have you back on the live stream, Levi. And as always, thank you for joining me, Brad. This is so much better than doing this alone. And it's just nice to catch up and talk about this thing that we care quite a lot about. So before we go, I'll give both of you the floor to talk about what you've got going on and where people can find you. So, hey, Levi, being as you're the newbie here, I'll give you the floor first. Tell us about your YouTube business. Tell us about your channel.
Well, you can find me over at Your Captain Speaking. We do mostly book reviews, although I did take the last video to talk about my 16mm collection. So we talk about mostly men's action books. So we do fantasy, spy fiction, war fiction, that sort of thing. Typically books that are about 200 pages or less, sort of the quick afternoon read. And it's an encouragement to people, especially guys who, statistically speaking, are reading less and less lately, to get back into it. Did you know all the James Bond books are less than 200 pages apiece? You can knock them out in an afternoon. So give it a whirl. So we talk about that sort of thing. Feel free to check the videos out. I did one on Philip Marlowe that I like. The Zorro video, which I will keep hammering on because it is my favorite one. Yeah, check it out and enjoy yourself. Watch that 16mm video as well because I really like that one.
Yeah, me too. Levi does wonderful work at his channel, Your Captain Speaking. Definitely check it out because he puts in a lot of effort. And as you probably have noticed over the course of this conversation, he has a lot of passion. He's not afraid to show it in the form of his work and through conversation. So, hey, Brad, how about you tell us where they can find where we can find your podcast, Cinema Speak Podcast?
Yeah, so it's the Cinema Speak Podcast. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. We're on Twitter at the Cinema Speak, Instagram, Cinema Speak Podcast, and on YouTube as Cinema Speak. And just a little preview, our episode coming out sometime next week will be our ranking of every Ron Howard motion picture. So definitely going to want to check that out. We've been working on that one for months now. And it's going to be huge.
Yeah. So that's a shared project between you and
Travis.
Travis from
Cinephiles Digest.
Cinephiles Digest. There we go.
Yeah. So and I don't know why he singled out Ron Howard, but that was all him. I mean, sure.
He strikes me as a bit of a troll. I think he wanted somebody to suffer in the form of you. So it's not done out of like pure unbridled enthusiasm. It's like, hey, this guy's an adequate filmmaker, Brad. Would you like to watch way too many movies with me and talk about them?
We found a few diamonds though. At least I found one bright and shining diamond that was a huge surprise, and we'll get into that next week.
Well, for what it's worth, I think Cinderella Man is a fine picture. Drive has some value to it, in particular Hans Zimmer's score. I quite like his score for that movie. It's a fun
Rush?
throwback. Oh, Rush, excuse me. Drive is
Yeah,
we're going too fast. We're going too
is,
fast. Driven. Yeah, I was thinking about Driven.
I was like, oh no, is there another one? Did I miss one?
I think that was Rennie Harlan. And I always think of that trailer that we're going too fast. We're going too fast. But yeah, Rush. That's a pretty. And Backdraft always will hold a special place in my heart. Just because I was there when it came out, and it was like, I remember like Entertainment Tonight did like a special, like a TV special mini documentary about it. And again, Hans Zimmer's score is phenomenal for Backdraft. Truly amazing stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, the Speakies, Brad's year-end wrap-up, whenever he gets around to it, because like he said, there's some titles that have yet to be released in our region that he would definitely like to check out. And as for myself, you're already watching the show. It's called Catching Up on Cinema. It is available wherever podcasts are found and on YouTube. Levi's been on the show pretty consistently the past month or so. I look forward to seeing more of him. And Brad, I'll have to have you back too. It's been a minute since
definitely.
you and I have done a full-fledged podcast other than one of these live streams. So look forward to that. But that being said, thank you so much for listening and or watching. We'll catch you next time.